Well, hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Photoshop User TV. This is show 401. We just crossed the mark over into the 400s.
We did not celebrate 400 last week?
We said a little, hey, yeah, but I'm still in the festive mood.
Okay.
We got back from Thanksgiving. We're heading on toward Christmas. And this is Photoshop User TV, brought to you by KelbyOne, the fine folks that bring you Photoshop User Magazine. Make sure you check it out right now. It's got the Gonzo Holiday Gear Guide in it, along with great articles by lots of famous, exciting people, such as Corey B. Barker. I just threw in the B. I don't know what your middle name is.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, I'm Pete Collins. And with me is my lovely co-host, Corey Barker.
How is everyone? Feeling good?
You said that to them and then looked at me. I'm doing okay, thanks, Corey.
How are you, Pete? Good.
I'm okay, Corey. Thank you for asking. We are professionals here. We know what we're talking about.
They tell us anyway.
Speaking of jumping right in and being professional, I'm going to throw it over to Corey Boom Boom Barker, and he's got a sweet little tip for you.
I've got a cooking show of sorts today. We're going to make gingerbread cookies here in Photoshop, in 3D actually.
Hey, do you know the Muffin Man?
I do.
Okay.
So anyway, I'm going to playing around with 3D and textures. You can actually do some really interesting things, and we're going to create a very realistic-looking gingerbread man right here, pretty much from scratch. Now, I'm starting with a basic shape, which is actually just, I did a Google image search and just searched gingerbread man. I found an image, and all I was interested in is just getting the shape of it, and actually this one works out beautifully. So, you'll start by making it 3D. So I'm going to go to the 3D and make a new 3D extrusion from selected layer. And as usual, it extrudes it tremendously more than I need it to. So I can just
Super gingerbread.
He's super thick. That is a thick cookie right there. No. So I'm going to bring up properties and let's lessen that extrusion depth considerably. So let's make it, we'll just put it at 200. Still a thick cookie, but
No, that's a nice size.
never too much cookie. Okay. So now what I need to do is kind of inflate the front. I want to make it, cookies are organic and have kind of a rounded edge to them. So we're going to start with going to the cap section here. And I'm just going to go to the inflate section down here and just give us a little bit of a boost, just to kind of push that out a little bit.
Now, is cap like the front facing of it? What is cap?
It's just basically adjusting the front and back caps of your object.
So it's doing the back.
You have a front and a back face, and you have the extrusion material. So we're referring to cap. It's only modifying the appearance of the cap, be it the front or back. Or you can do both, actually. You can actually do front and back, and you can see right here. So I add a little bit of bevel to this, and I want it to be a rounded bevel. So we'll just kind of add that, and we'll just lessen the angle here. So we've got a nice little bit of a curve around our object there, just right around that front face there. So that looks pretty good.
I hope everybody's thinking about the voice from the movies.
From the Shrek?
From Shrek.
Yeah.
While he's doing this.
All right, so we've got that in place. Now I have a texture I've pretty much put together here. It's just a cookie texture that I've got that we're going to use to cover our gingerbread man. So I'm going to go ahead and select the front inflation material here in the 3D panel, which is that front face. And over here at the diffuse property, which is at the very top, we're just going to go ahead and choose replace texture. And then we're going to go and locate the cookie texture I have here, which is right there on the desktop. So we'll click open. And there it is now on my little gingerbread man. Seems a little bit big, so I'm going to adjust the UV properties, which allows me to scale the texture right here on the object. I'm actually going to drop this to like 80 on the scale for both. And I think that looks pretty good. So there we go. So there's our front face of our cookie man. So now I want it to have a little bit of texture. We've just applied the texture and it has the look of it, but I want it to have that kind of feel about it. So going back to that layer 1 front inflation, we are now going to go down to the bump property right down here. Now in here, I'm going to go ahead and choose the actual texture we've applied to the image already. And you can see it already adds a little bit more depth to the texture. Now I could make that more so just by increasing that bump setting. See how it gets a little bit more harsh? Don't want it to be quite that much. I'm going to keep it pretty low there. Now, I obviously want to be able to apply this same texture to that beveled edge and even to the extruded sides, but I don't want to have to go through all these steps all over again. So what I'm going to do is jump into this little material preset menu here and just make this a new material. We'll call it Cookie Texture 1. So now when I go into my 3D panel and select that front bevel material, all I got to do is locate that material, and all the settings that I've applied to it will be there. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that to the sides as well. So there we have my little cookie man cut right out. I didn't even have to go in the oven. So I'm going to go and turn the ground plane shadow off there for a moment. And let's see, I don't need my ground plane wireframe either, so I'll turn that off as well. All right, so now I'm just pretty much ready to do a render. So I'm going to actually do a little bit of a draft render here. So I'm just going to start the render and see what we've got here. So, and if there was any shadows or reflections or such, this is where they would take shape. But it's obviously not, there's no reflections on this one, but it's just a little bit of texture on there. So I think that'll do for now. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that as it is. Now, we need to make it look like he's got like the little icing on him. So I'm actually going to do that on a different layer. Using a brush and a layer style. So we're just going to use a simple rounded brush, and we'll paint with white there. So let's actually go ahead and set a couple of eyes and a smiley.
Oh boy.
I'm terrible with the smileys. There we go. Not getting a very smooth. Try and try again. Here, I'm going to make that brush a little bit smaller. So there we go. That'll do for now. All right, I'm going to add a bevel and emboss to this to give it the depth I would like it to have. And I'm going to add a shadow. There we go. So now with that layer style even on there, I can go and just kind of decorate him. You know, I'll put the little sleeves on there. This is like the little icing things you do, but this is a lot less messy. And then we'll do we've got to do the gumdrop buttons. But you know what? I'm going to do this a different color. I'm actually going to get, were they purple in the movie? Just go bloop, bloop, bloop. And then we can go crazy and just, we'll give them a little, all right, I'm going to go too nuts. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much time, but there you see the fun you can have combining 3D with the 2D elements of Photoshop and being able to go in there and do something fun for the holidays. Now, you can actually make these elements 3D and combine them with this if you really wanted to take that extra route. And maybe I'll do that as a supplement tutorial soon. But hopefully that gives you an idea of what you can really kind of play around with the holidays this year. So.
Well, and then thinking about the 3D aspect of it, if you did all of that in 3D, then you could use those to decorate a tree. You could like rotate it, have them hanging on the tree, and decorate different things.
In fact, I think while Pete's doing his tip after the break, I think I'll go ahead and do that, and they kind of show that at the end of the show. So how's that sound?
Sounds good.
Good deal. So with that, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back here on Photoshop User TV.
Hey, Corey,
Hey.
Have you heard about the KelbyOne site?
No.
It's awesome.
I'm sorry.
There you go. I just thought I'd try something different because it says up on the screen, promote KelbyOne site. So,
Okay.
KelbyOne.
Sorry.
Actually, we love KelbyOne. We're over there. We've got classes on there. But if you want to learn about photography and Photoshop, it's the best place around. So make sure you go check it out. That's KelbyOne.com and find out how awesome it is.
There's a lot of great stuff over there. I mean, the new site is looking really great. It's really much more streamlined than it was before, and you've got a ridiculous amount of classes on there.
Oh, you could spend the whole holiday season just watching all that stuff and ignoring your family, which I recommend.
Speaking of ignoring your family, Pete's been working hard on his next tip, so we're anxiously awaiting.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, this goes in conjunction with, where's that magazine?
Hey.
Did you hide the magazine?
There you go.
I actually have the article in here that talks about how to create your own wrapping paper. And I wanted to kind of do a follow-up over here. He's saying point over here. Over here. There it is. Yeah. Anyway, you can go check it out there. But this is kind of a follow-up to that. I wanted to give you kind of some extra steps that you might not see in the magazine that might help you out. First thing is you want to go find your I keep forgetting I'm looking over there, but you're right here. Sorry, guys. You want to go over to find your stock imagery that you want. I'm over at Fotolia.com, and let's say I decide I might like something in here. I'm going to use one of these as a graphic. So I can come in. What I generally do is I buy them as a vector graphic, because then it gives me full control to decide whether I want to use an Illustrator, Photoshop. I don't have to worry about cutting out different things. I can do it over there. Plus, if I don't feel real comfortable in Illustrator or whatever, I can still open it up as a JPEG or an EPS and work with it in Photoshop. So I would just click on that, say download it here. I have a subscription, and what it's going to do is that I'm then going to be able to come over and find it. Right now it's over on the desktop. And so the nice thing is it gives you both a JPEG and a EPS. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the EPS, and I'm going to yes, I want to accept that. Illustrator is going to open up, and what it's going to do is it's going to start processing. And the neat thing that a lot of people don't realize is how easy it is to go back and forth between the different programs. So Illustrator and Photoshop work hand in hand. It's very easy to take advantage of that. So here we're going to go over to Illustrator. Let's pop that open. All right, so this is one of the reasons why I like to use the vector images, because I'm over in Illustrator and I just want to take maybe that one package right there. But when I click on it, you see everything is lighted up. That means they're grouped together. So I'm going to right click. Aha, I'm going to have to right click and say release compound path. Let's undo that. Nope, I got it right there. And I'm just going to take that package and I am going to move this back over, and I've got Illustrator right here. What I'm going to do, got too many windows. I'm now just going to simply drag that over into Photoshop. And that's all I've done. I haven't had to export. I haven't had to do anything special. I've just simply dragged it from Illustrator right over into Photoshop. I haven't had to cut anything out, and that's why I love when they're vector images, that I can just play with them and bring them right over. Okay, so once I do that, I hit return, and now it's going to mesh down in there. And let's do this. I'm going to make a new copy. There we go. And for this, I don't need it to be a smart object. You can see over here, it's brought it in as a smart object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, and I'm just going to do rasterized layer. Now this is where a lot of people get confused. First thing you're going to want to do is make sure that the document that you're using is square. Generally helps out. You can do it as a rectangle if you want. You just need to know the sizes of it. So I'm going to hit Command R to bring up my rulers, and I can tell that this is 4 inches by 4 inches. If I wasn't sure, I could also go to image size and check it out here, and it says 4 inches by 4 inches. I'm going to hit cancel on that. I want to change it to pixels because it's going to make it easier. Knowing that I've got this set for 300 DPI or PPI, I know that 4 times 300 is 1200 pixels across by 1200 pixels down. So now I'm going to take this image right here, and I'm going to put it right in the center. And I'm just going to make a copy of it. And I'm going to go up to filter. And this is one of those filters that you probably don't play with unless you know it's there. And it's the offset filter. And what the offset filter does is it takes whatever you have on screen, and it's going to move it horizontally, however many pixels you say, and vertically, however many pixels you say. Well, because I know this is 1200 by 1200, if I do exactly half, 600, and then I do vertically 600, it now places those in the corners exactly in the same place. It's like it divided it into 4s and put it in the corners. So what that now means is I've got a perfect representation, a square pattern here that I can use as a repeating pattern, and there won't be any catches to it, any lines or anything like that. So I can now simply come in say Edit, Define Pattern, and then I can name it if I want to and click OK. If you ever come across, you try to do this and it's grayed out, it's probably because your document is bigger than, I believe for patterns, is it 2,500 or 5,000 pixels? I think it may be 5,000 pixels.
Well, I know
now.
it's 5,000 for brushes.
It's 5,000 for brushes. But if you ever find it grayed out, check and make sure you haven't tried to do a pattern that's too large. You might just need to shrink it down. But now, what happens is you've got a new layer, and a new document, and I'm just gonna come in and create a new white layer, and I'm simply gonna come over to Pattern Overlay, click on that, and the last pattern there will be the one I just created. And the thing, just like Corey said with his, is the great thing is that I can scale this up and scale it down. And I can set up and create my own individual wrapping paper that I could use in a design, or I could even, some people even make their own and print it if they've got an at-home printer to use to wrap their own presents. You've very easily been able to figure out how to use offset to create your own repeating pattern that you can use over and over again. You can add different embellishments, anything you want to it. And the nice thing is, if you don't like how that is, you can take it and resize it up, resize it down, do whatever you'd like. You've got full control. And it's just simply knowing how to take and grab those elements, throw them into Photoshop, make sure you know the dimensions of your document, put it in the middle, and use offset to put it in the corners, and you've got your own repeating pattern there that you can use anywhere you want.
And you could take that pattern and apply it to a 3D box.
Yes.
In Photoshop.
Yes.
All right, that's awesome. No, that's a really great tip for, especially using layer styles and that forgivability of being able to go in there and modify at any time. This is why I like to use them all the time myself.
Well, and I'm just thinking about one of the reasons why I like this is, let's say you've got a couple little boxes, or usually the real special presents you have are smaller presents. Imagine creating your own wrapping paper for it that has your own special touch in it, so it's not just precious on the inside, it's on the outside as well.
All right, now
just like you, Corey.
Thank you. I love him. All right, we have another Peach Pit E-deal to talk about. Before we do that, I just want to show you real quick. I was able to get together my little 3D gingerbread man, added the other 3D effect. Can we?
While Pete was wrapping paper, Corey was cooking.
So there you can see, I just took the painted elements, took the layer style away, and then just basically merged them as a 3D object, and then just kind of bulged them out so you can see it's really in 3D there. So now I have a full 3D gingerbread man. So you can really take it really as far as you want to go. So
you could even put a ribbon or something through it, put a hole through it, or a hook or something like that, and hang it on the tree.
The next question is probably going to be, can you animate him?
Yeah.
Actually, you can at some level. All right.
Slowly being eaten.
Yeah, ooh. That would be you, Pete. All right, so the Peach Pit E-deal. KelbyOne viewers can save 40% on this deal. Night photography, from snapshots to great shots, by Gabriel Bitterman. Actually, Gabe's awesome. He's one of the B&H guys, and of course Tim Cooper as well. So that is Gabriel's a great guy. He's over at B&H, and he's a fantastic photographer. He loves what he does. He really has a great time with it. So you'll definitely learn a lot from his book. So to get that offer, go to peachpit.com/KelbyOne and enter the code KelbyOne. Did you have something to add there? You seem like
no, that was mine. Yeah. That was my slash.
I thought you had something.
KelbyOne.com/.
So, yes. So and another giveaway. Uh-oh. What do we have here?
What do we have, Corey? No. Let me hold it, because that would just seem wrong for you to hold it. Look at this, Corey. It's Down and Dirty Tricks for Designers by the world's most...
Go ahead.
I'm trying to think of a good word for it. Superlative Photoshop master, Corey Barker. To be honest, we give him a hard time, but Corey is the master, and this book is phenomenal. It's part 2 of his series, and it's not just for designers. Photographers will get a lot out of it. Seeing the capabilities that you can do will inspire you. It'll get you to want to play more in Photoshop and come up with some amazing projects right here. Book that's definitely a great stocking stuffer or present for yourself or your friends who are into photography or design. And
not forget, Volume 1 is actually still selling strong on Amazon, so you can actually find both copies at KelbyOne and at Amazon. So, how was that? Oh, how do they win?
Well, Corey, I'm glad you asked. You'll go over to KelbyOne.com/contest, Make sure to find in the drop-down menu Photoshop User TV, then fill out all the other stuff. We love your comments. We especially love questions or ideas that you might have for the show. So make sure you fill that out, and we'll pick some lucky winner at random, and he'll get Corey's book. So
fantastic. I'll even sign it. No
wow.
problem. All right.
Price just dropped.
There it goes. All right, we want to thank you guys for joining us yet again here on Photoshop User TV. We've got more holiday stuff coming in the next few weeks. We are, what is this, December 4th now?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's early December, so we still got a lot of holiday antics to get through, so bear with us. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye, guys.